With that, we shift focus to the footwear manufacturing company Bata India. Earlier today, the company saw a dip of 3% on the back of weak operational performance posted in the September quarter of FY25. And my colleague Niraj spoke to Bata's management. Listen in to a slice of that conversation.
No, so we are seeing some kind of a duality, Niraj. So, and that does reflect in our numbers, not only last quarter, but slightly more longer term also. While there was a big post-COVID bump that we had and a big climb back, etc., post that there has been a split between, let's say in a very simple way, premium and non-premium. And we are seeing the mass, middle masses categories, etc., are the ones that have been under some amount of pressure. The premium categories continue, including even the last quarter, led by our brands like Hush Puppies, Power, Bata Comfort, etc., to grow in strong double digits. And that's what even the CAGR. It's the lower price points that have been under pressure.
What will change this? Will this change, or will brands need to position themselves differently? And for you in particular as well, what happens? Because I'm just looking at a city note, right, which speaks about, not, as you said too, Gunjan, not just what's happened in this quarter gone by, but the trajectory. How does this change, if at all?
No, it should change. And I think, while we will want obviously that consumer segment to bounce back and will, right? It's a very large part of the Indian consumption basket, etc. We are also doing a bunch of actions that are there in terms of, making sure that we are also, proactively trying to tackle the situation. So I will try and put it across basically 4 or 5 facets that we are trying to work upon. I think one is basically in terms of products, right? So our collections that we are doing, even at the premium end, right? So for example, the latest one that we have launched, the marketing campaign with our ambassador, Karthik Aryan, Celebrate Every Step, with a collection which is artisanal leather collection. And it is at 2499. So it's a great value. The tests that we have done with consumers tell us great stuff. The preliminary response for the last, I think, couple of weeks that the campaigns in the market is showing us very good response. So consumers are looking for great, even if it's premiumization, but great affordability as well as value for the products that are there. Another example in case that has been now giving us consistent success over a couple of years has been the Floats brand. It is something that we initiated and seeded about 3 years back. Completely washable, great slip resistance, technology infused with comfort. And that brand now has become the fastest to 100 crores plus, and now is an annual run rate of almost about 150 crores. Now that's again premiumization, but great value to the consumer. And that's what we are getting back. So more and more of these kind of initiatives, while straddling premiumization, but providing value to consumers, is, I think, one way out of this. I think another piece that we are doing is elevating consumer experience, right? So as consumers come back to stores post-COVID, etc., we have also gone about renovating our stores. So now almost 60% of our network, which is 600, 700 stores, have undergone renovation in the last 3 years. And that's been a huge investment towards renovating their experience. We have clubbed that along with technology infusion, which is providing omni-channel, which is consumers can book orders and just get it delivered in a jiffy at home. And that's given us great success. So that's also one piece that is there in terms of making sure that the consumer experience is in line with what we are also moving the product evolution on. That clubbed with now marketing campaigns, brand collaborations. We have just done, collaborations with designers. We have just launched a Marvel collaboration with a Bubblegummers kids brand, Hush Puppies collaboration with the Peanuts collection. So all of these are towards making sure that you stay relevant as well as connected to different consumer segments. So I think all of these combined together should help us continue and, improve the trajectory.
So one of the notes that I read, so one note mentioned that relative to their estimates, Gunjan, your numbers were better. So maybe they were penciling in something worse and it didn't happen. Now, two aspects that come in from one of the notes, which is not as constructive. So I'm playing the devil's advocate here, right? The note says that the weak demand environment, which is spread across companies and not just you, but new growth engines not picking up as expected. So apparel, export, strategic tie-ups. They cite that the pickup out here in the new growth engines is not quite happening at the pace that maybe they would have penciled in. Would you concur that the pace of growth in the new growth engines is sluggish thus far? And is there scope of that picking up? Or do you differ?
So I would agree and differ, Niraj, on this front, right? Obviously, we want to see far better growth contributions from all engines, right? Including the growth engines. I think there are 4 or 5 pivots of growth engines that we are looking at. So one is from a expansion perspective. Now, one big model that we have pushed forward in the last 3 years has been the franchise model. It's given us great access to tier three and downward towns. That's now ballooned to almost about 600 stores. Most of them, almost 500, are unique new towns that have added to our network. And that is something that continues at great profitable manner. Similarly, has been the entire digital expansion journey. And the e-commerce business has been one of our fastest growing businesses as well as profitable at the same time. And the more we scale up, the more we are able to make sure that it is accretive from a profitability perspective. The third one is from a consumption and a consumer targeting perspective, and which is where I talked about. I've talked in the past, but we have opened up. So one is that Hush Puppies as a banner itself, from a premium end, we have now reached almost 140 stores, right, last quarter, and that less than 100 till about 2 years back. So it's been a great CAGR journey on that front, and we plan to aggressively keep that pace going on. In addition to that, we have opened two new banners, which is the Floats kiosks, which are now almost more than a dozen in the last 2 quarters, as well as the Power EBOs, which is the athleisure brand of ours. So that's one more growth engine, and I think both of them are reasonably on track. The third one that's there is apparel. And I have mentioned this. It's a very different business. We see a lot of right to succeed in it. Consumers do come there and they don't get obviously apparel in our stores. They go to other stores. There is a very easy way of making sure that that adjacent consumption comes through. We have launched a bunch of apparel. We are learning this entire cycle. We are at about 60 stores, and there we are now seeing good traction after some learning hiccups, etc. And we plan to open that up to now almost about 150 stores. So it will be a slow tick, but it will be something that we want to make sure that we learn it well before we expand it full head. So I think that's broadly how I'll bucket these growth engines, if I had to respond to you.